If there's any one person who's come to embody the excesses of American corporate greed, it's the man now known as Pharma Bro. Martin Shkreli, the 32-year-old founder and CEO of Turing Pharmaceuticals, caused an uproar when his company jacked up the price of a drug used to treat a deadly infection by 5,000%. Now, Shkreli blamed the massive increase on market forces, telling CNBC it was effectively built into his company's purchase of the patent.
We definitely planned on raising the price, that's for sure. We paid a very, very large amount to buy an unprofitable medicine. We can't continue to lose money on the drug at that price. So we took it to a price where we can make a comfortable profit, but not any kind of ridiculous profit.
After becoming the most hated man on the internet, Shkreli tried to align himself with one of the most beloved men on the internet, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Shkreli gave Sanders the maximum individual donation of $2,700, telling the Boston Globe he was hoping to get a private meeting to explain why drug companies set prices the way they do. But alas, Pharma Bro was rebuffed by the Sanders campaign, which gave the money away to a clinic for HIV/AIDS patients, the main population in need of this newly expensive drug. And Shkreli wasn't too happy about it.
I think he's a demagogue. He'll say anything to get a vote. And, you know, for me to be his piñata is unacceptable. I think he has a lot of great ideas. I gave him $2,700, which I understood to be the legal limit, and he donated it to a charity. Now, I don't donate millions of dollars to charity, and most young entrepreneurs don't do that.
Who are you supporting for president?
I haven't made a decision yet. I'd be willing to support a Democrat. In fact, I was going to start a Democratic super PAC with my own money. But after this backlash and the lack of understanding of our economy from what I've seen from the Democrats, I may support a Republican now.
Right now, Shkreli will have some different market forces to contend with. A compounding pharmacy called Imprimis says it's selling a different version of the same drug at just 99 cents per pill, $749 less. Shkreli's company is charging for it. And joining me now, CEO and founder of Imprimis Pharmaceuticals, Mark Baum. Great to have you here.
Good to be here, Chris.
Okay, what is a compounding pharmacy and how does this work?
So compounding pharmacies buy FDA-registered, FDA-approved generic drugs, and they repurpose them or reformat them for new uses. So if your daughter needed a drug that was only available in a pill format, she can't swallow a pill, a compounding pharmacy would take that drug and put it into a liquid or a suspension so that she could take it.
And the active ingredients are all purchased through this regulated chain of the FDA, right?
They're FDA-registered generic drugs. They're produced in FDA-inspected facilities, and we buy them, and our facilities are inspected by the FDA as well.
Okay, so then explain to me how this is possible from a market perspective. A company buys this drug. It essentially has a monopoly on that drug, as far as I understand it, right? They purchased the drug. Not a legal monopoly, because it's out of patent, right? I think I misspoke before and said patent. But they have this drug. They're going to jack up the price. You come in and say, well, we'll sell it for $1. Like, how can you afford to sell it for $1 if they're selling it for $750?
Well, first of all, you know, when you talk about the drug, you talk about Daraprim. Everybody talks about Daraprim, but Daraprim is really a name in advertising. It's a brand name. The underlying chemical that makes up Daraprim happens to be very inexpensive. And so what we are able to do is to buy that chemical. And let me be clear, we are not legally allowed to copy that drug. The FDA will prevent us from doing that, and we will not do that. So we cannot copy it, but we're able to take another complementary active drug, marry it with pyrimethamine, which is the underlying drug in Daraprim, combine the two, compound them, and build a new choice for physicians and their patients.
Wait, but so when you say this gets the sort of key of how this market works, right? Because there's all these patent thickets, and there's intellectual property, and there's brands, and there's... And when you say you can't copy the drug, right, that's the FDA's enforcing essentially the sort of title that he has on this drug, right?
You know, one of the reasons why I got into this issue is, first of all, I've financed a lot of businesses over the last 15 years that have specifically served this community. So I'm personally...
HIV/AIDS patients.
Absolutely. You know, and when I saw what he was doing, I mean, he's not engaged in capitalism. I'm for capitalism. I believe in competition. He was engaged in a monopoly. He purchased this because he knew he was the only one that could make it. I believe. I would imagine that was the case, and that he could control the price. And the good news is that with a few small changes in healthcare policy at the FDA level and potentially at the congressional level, this could all be eliminated. You don't need to, for example, bring in drugs from Canada. We could probably build the drugs cheaper than you could buy them from in Canada. nor do you need price controls.
Can you, with the facilities you guys have, can you actually mass produce this drug? I mean, can you, or is this some? It sounds more like kind of a boutique process, for lack of a better word.
It is bespoke medicine, and we are not allowed to mass produce these formulations. Quite honestly, we could. If the FDA, if the laws were changed a little, we could make a lot more of it. Congress passed and President Obama signed a law that governs how we conduct ourselves, and there is a pathway to actually making this formulation in an FDA-registered facility. Unfortunately, right now the FDA has kind of said that we can't make this particular formulation in even an FDA-registered facility.
I will say, you're very good at explaining what you do, but I remain completely confused about how drug pricing works in this country. So we're going to have to revisit this.
For sure.
Great.